Hello and welcome to Jason's Weird Reads. I'm Jason White and this is Jason's Weird Reads, and today I'm going to be doing a book tag. Now I want to thank Crystal for tagging me in this. I don't generally do book tags these days. I just find them I might do more because I'm out of that factory and I just seem to have a little bit more time on my hands. And so this is the behind the Booktube tag. And let's get right into it, shall we? I'll have all the information down below, who created it, and a link to Crystal's from Fiber Artsy, her video where she tagged me. All right, so the prompts. Prompt number 1. What has surprised you the most about Booktube, both in a good way and in a bad way? This is interesting. I've been doing Booktube for about 5 years now, I think. And what surprised me most in the negative way was sort of how I reacted to it. I went through a phase where I really wanted to grow my channel, and I succeeded to some degree. But I sort of lost where I was going with it. I created this channel just to talk about books and to have fun while doing it, and instead I made it into a chore. And I'm sure that my previous job played a lot into that, but as you can see, my progress kind of crashed. I was doing a lot of top 10 lists, and I love doing top 10 lists, but I haven't done one in well over a year, maybe even close to 2 years. And so I guess you could say I totally burnt myself out. And so I ended up taking, a pretty big break where I was still making videos, and I'm still doing that, but I haven't done any of the things that I was doing. I might get back to that. So I think that's the biggest, it's both the negative and a positive, I think, because the negative was I was becoming toxic to myself, but the positive was that I caught myself doing it, and I was able to pull myself out of it. But another positive is that I was able to grow a fairly small community. And these are a lot of people who keep coming back. There's a few of them who've been here since like nearly the beginning, and they comment on almost all videos. And I totally appreciate everyone who does that. It means a lot to me. Prompt number 2. How do you balance reading and Booktube with the rest of your life? This is kind of new territory for me because, like I said, when I was at the factory, I was working 12-hour shifts, switching back and forth between days and nights. And it was really, really hard to balance. But now I have a bit more time with the new job, and so it might be a bit easier. But before, I was kind of losing my hold on what I had. I mean, it's not just reading and Booktube. I also want to write, and balancing those 3 things as like hobbies, or at least, wanting to go somewhere with that, at least a little bit farther than where I am. It's not easy, but I'm thinking with the more time, so as long as I don't sit around, watching Booktube videos or TikTok, I should be able to produce more stuff now. Prompt number 3, have you ever thought about starting a Patreon? And I have. I even have one set up. I just don't have, I'm not inviting anyone to do it yet because I don't know exactly what the tiers will be. And I'm not too sure if I'm going to go there in the future, honestly. But it's a possibility. But the reason why I stopped before was, again, the factory job. I found myself not being able to hold up my end of the bargain a lot whenever I said I was going to do something on Booktube. And most of the time it was because I was fighting like serious jet lag like symptoms. It was like three weeks out of the month where I was feeling like total garbage. So you might see something like that in the future. I don't know. I've just started a book club. So, maybe I'll put some links to that down there in the show notes so that you can go check that out if you're interested in joining my book club. Question or prompt number 4, have you made any mistakes on Booktube? I have made plenty of mistakes. I can't think of anything specific, honestly, but I have made mistakes. I mean, really, what is a Booktube mistake? I can't think of anything big, honestly. I have made some mistakes here and there. Mostly it's just keeping to my word and keeping to a schedule, honestly. I want to I want to bring this to a point where I'm consistent with like maybe 2 days a week where I have a video. That's how I used to have it about 2 years ago or more, and I want to get back to that. Next prompt, do you have any advice for new booktubers? This is an interesting one because I love Booktube and I love talking about Booktube. I think that the biggest thing that you can do to help yourself is just to have fun at first. Don't overly criticize yourself, and certainly don't compare yourself to other booktubers. Comparing yourself to others is, and ultimately, it's the death knell of any sort of creative endeavor. Just do your own thing and have fun doing it. Honestly, that's the best thing you can do. If you're having fun, I believe very strongly, and I've said this a lot, if you're having fun doing Booktube, then people are going to feel that, and they're going to follow you. They're going to subscribe, and they're going to talk to you. And that's honestly the best advice I can give. Is just have fun and be persistent, honestly. As persistent as you possibly can. Next prompt. What are your thoughts on the YouTube algorithm? Now, I think the best way to dance with with the algorithm and to maybe make friends with it is to do what I think it wants, and that's to make everything look as pretty as you can, as appealing. Think like an advertiser. So that would go into your titles and definitely into your thumbnails. I mean, not everyone is a designer, so you have to keep that in mind. And it's okay if you don't create like top tier thumbnails and titles, but do your best. Maybe put just a little bit more effort into creating thumbnails. God knows I'm not great at thumbnails. But titles can be hard too, but just put some thought into it. And I think that, that's my thoughts on the algorithm. I think you might be able to get farther if you have something that looks appealing. Next prompt, how do you decide what videos to make? This is also hard. Like I said, I used to make a lot of top 10 videos. Those were always very popular. And I stopped doing them because they're a little hard to make. But I want to get back into doing them at some point. It's not just that they're hard to make, so I'm starting to run out of content other than just regurgitating all the old stuff that I was creating top 10 lists about. So that makes it difficult on it in itself. Booktube tags are always great if you have nothing else to do. So I tend to do that. Doing all the regular Booktube type videos like book hauls, reading wrap-ups. I love doing reading wrap-ups, and I love doing TBR lists now. And I love watching TBR videos. A lot of creators I've heard say that TBR videos don't do well, but I don't understand that. I think they're better than book haul videos, in my opinion, because then you get to see people's, they're excited to read these books. They have a list of books that they're going to read, and they're excited to read it, and that's why I love watching Booktube in the first place. People being excited about reading books typically gets me excited about reading books, and so that's how I decide to make videos, whatever excites me. Next prompt, are you ever overwhelmed with video ideas? No, actually, I struggle with ideas. Ideas don't come easily to me. I typically have to brainstorm. Next prompt, have you regretted posting a video? No, I don't think I have. Mostly about reviews, and I think this lost me, maybe even some friends, I don't know. But I've since changed my opinion a little bit, but I have put out videos where I said, you are not a reviewer. That's not necessarily what I meant. I think it's difficult for me to articulate exactly what I meant. Basically, I think everyone should be able to review books. And what I was trying to say is that you shouldn't take yourself too seriously, because if you do, don't take yourself too seriously as a reviewer, because if you do that, then you're setting yourself up for a lot of hurt. And it always came out wrong. And so it's not that I adjusted my opinion. It's more that I came to understand exactly what it was I was trying to say. But I used to say it in a rather shitty way. And like I said, some people stopped commenting on my videos that used to comment regularly, other booktubers typically. And so I regret that. But I think in the future I should realize exactly what it is I want to say before I say it. All right, next prompt. Are the number of views / subscribers meaningful to you? They are, and they're not. I used to be when I was going through that phase of trying to grow my Booktube channel, it was driving me insane, but I was obsessed about the subscriber count. And I would, if I was to give another piece of advice, I would say don't obsess over that, because it will drive you bonkers. But it's still important to me, but I don't look at it every day. And if I lose like a bunch of subscribers and then gain some, which typically happens, it goes up and down, up and down. Ultimately it's going up, but it bounces back and forth. I'm not too worried about it, honestly. Next prompt. Are the number of views / subscribers a measurement of success? And I would say no. First of all, however you measure success is completely subjective. It's not objective. It's whatever the creator wants. And so you could have a very tight-knit, close community that you've built, and talk to those people specifically, and you're pretty much reaching your goal. In a sense, I have reached my goal because I have created a small community, and I'm happy with the people who keep coming back to say hello and to talk about books with me. And so in a sense, I'm successful. Doesn't matter if I have 5,000 or 100,000 subscribers. Next prompt. Are you disappointed by the growth on your channel? And no, I'm not. I've gotten pretty farther than maybe a lot of booktubers will. And that's not me, sitting on my soapbox saying, I'm better. That's not it at all. I'm surprised at where I am. 5,000 is not a big number, but it's, a lot of booktubers don't make it this far. A lot of booktubers give up long before they ever make it this far. And I can't say why that happens. Why there's people who've been doing it as long as I have, who are still like at around 1,000 or 2,000, and that's great. That's great that they made it that far. But there's people who started at the same time as me and they're at like 100,000 now. Mike's book reviews, he started like I think 6 months after I did, and he's at like close to 1,000, if not 100,000 now. That's huge, and he took off, and that's great. That's great for him too. I don't know if I could manage that, to be honest, if I ever got that big. That's too much. Question 11, or prompt 11. Have you ever thought about quitting Booktube? And that is something I can say, no, I have not. I've always wanted to do this since I figured it out. And by figuring it out, I mean, there was a time when obviously all of us came to this saying, what? People talk about books on YouTube? And I came to that same conclusion. I was watching I forget his name now. Better Than Food, I want to say. He was the first one. Matt Wall was another early one, and Cameron Chaney. Those three. It was Matt Wall who used to start his video saying, hello, Booktube. And I'm like, what the hell is Booktube? And I wanted to make Booktube videos too, because I love talking about books, and I don't know anybody who reads the books I read in real life. So Booktube, for me to compare something here, writing, I like to write, and I've written a few things. I have a collection of short stories out, and I'm working on a few things now. There's plenty of times when I thought about quitting writing because it's so hard. It's very hard. But I've never, ever thought about quitting Booktube. I think, honestly, as long as this technology is available for me to use, I'm going to be talking about this stuff for the rest of my life. And that's the plan. I could end up going through, even in my darkest period of time, which was just last year, of my Booktube journey, I didn't think that I was ever going to quit. I just had to take a step back because certain things in my real life and even my Booktube life were starting to get to me. But it's surprising to me because I'd never thought about quitting Booktube, and I want to continue doing. I even make book talk videos over on TikTok. I absolutely love talking about books. I think I was put on this planet to talk about books and to maybe contribute to it a little bit here and there with my own writing. Prompt number 12. What are the most touching comments? Honestly, for me, the most touching comments are when people tell me that they enjoy a certain type of video that I do. Like, I get a lot of people who say they like my From the Hip videos. And, well, not a lot of people, but there's a few people who continue to tell me that they love my, or they really enjoy my From the Hip videos. And that's always touching to me, because that's just me talking about my life and then talking about the books that I have been reading and am currently reading. And usually it's all geared towards the channel. But sometimes I'll go into my own personal life. And so it's interesting that people enjoy that. And another reason why it touches me is because I got the idea from a podcast I used to listen to, where they would have a From the Hip episode, where they basically just, they shoot the shit from the hip, as they used to say. And, that's just me. I love listening to that type of podcast where people are just, it's maybe geared towards a certain topic, but they're very loose on it. They're not tightly locked in on it. And so I sort of wanted to frame my own From the Hip episodes towards that. And I ended up adding, recent reads to that video, because it just seems sort of logical, because, when you're reading is a part of your life, and it sort of meshes into it. And I think it just works kind of perfectly, in my opinion anyway. And also, I just really enjoy it as for another touching comment when somebody says, when they come back and they're like, you recommended this book to me and I read it and I absolutely loved it. Like, that's great. That always makes me feel really good. And what are the most negative comments is the next prompt. Now, this one, I don't get too many. When I first started, I had some trolls it was almost like your first test as a booktuber. Can you survive this? Because I get some people calling me some rather negative, socially unacceptable names in my comments. And at first it really bothered me. And there was also a couple of comments where people would be like, you recommended this book to me. You said it was scary, but it wasn't scary. Not at all. It's like, okay, that's your opinion. It scared me. I'm not lying to you. But, I don't really get those anymore. Every once in a while, you still get somebody who says something rather negative towards something you said. And I think I've grown to the point, and I think meditation and sort of listening to a lot of Buddhist Dharma talks has made me come to accept that it's not personal. And so, I get negative comments on my book talk videos and my booktube videos, and it rolls off so much easier now. It's just like, okay, that's your opinion, and I'll even leave some of them there. If it's like somebody calling me some terrible name that you shouldn't say, then I'll delete that, because I don't want that type of negativity. But if it's just simply somebody who has a different opinion than mine, then by all means leave them. That's fine. I'll leave them there too. I might not like it, like give it a little heart, but it's still there. It's valid. It's your opinion. And the last prompt here, in regards to Booktube, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Honestly, I just see myself doing exactly what I'm doing now. I have absolutely no idea or even a goal as to where my subscriber count will be. Who cares, honestly? As long as I keep the community that I've got and it grows a little bit, and maybe we're talking about books in my book club, and maybe I've released a few books and I can talk about those too. That would be my little success. Honestly, I would feel rather successful in having accomplished that, because not too many people make it that far, and that's not even the point. Honestly, I don't even know why I said that. It's that I think that's where I'm coming from, is that it's unlikely that I would make it there. And if I do, I'll be happy to have made it there. And so that's That's my answers for this awesome little tag. I want to thank the creator, which I completely gapped on looking to see who created this. It's been so long since I did tag videos, but their channel will be down there. I think this is an awesome little tag, and I think if you want to do it, then you should do it. You're tagged. Yeah, you right there, you're tagged. All right, thank you for watching. If you made it this far into the video, because I kind of rambled, please leave me a stack of books deep down there in the darkness. Keep being creative and keep being safe. And I'll catch you guys in the next bookish video.